Hey, welcome back, guys. Happy Saturday evening. I'm your host, Sean, and today we are going to travel back down the prim and rosy path of the pocket change market report. So in this video, if you've never visited the PCMR, it's real simple. These are coins that people have found or they've cherry picked, and they have, in essence, flipped them on eBay for a nice, tidy profit. All right, it's real simple, and there's no grading involved, nothing like that. Generally, for something like this to be effective, obviously you wouldn't need to grade it. Okay, why spend the $20, $30, $40 to grade a coin if it's, say worth 30 bucks or 50 or 100? You would just much rather just sell it as it is and reap the rewards. Now, seeing as how we are pretty deep into the holiday season, we're less than a week away from Christmas, guys. Generally, after the first of the year, things begin to flatten up a little bit in the coin market as we approach the spring and summer months, like usual. Not exactly sure how COVID plays a role in the sustainability of the market. What I have noticed in the just overall pasture of eBay, if we want to use a little bit of analogy here, there are a few stallions and thoroughbreds and so many road apples. I mean, everybody is getting into the error and variety game. If you're lucky enough to find some bankrolls at your local bank, all right, that's what people are doing, okay? And more than likely, there's a lot of people that are asking for them and trying to get their piece of the lion's share, I suppose, of the the ability to make a few bucks selling some of these coins. A lot of people out of work, people with free time right now, doing this, and to a degree of success, and sometimes they just missed the mark because they're really not a error or variety that they have found. But in any event, the coins that we're about ready to showcase for you here today, we got 20 of them. So we got 20 notable coins here, all raw, no graded items, and they're all from the last 24 to 36 hours. So strap in your seat, grab a hot chocolate with a mint peppermint stick hanging out of it, and let's go ahead and embark on this journey. So at least it'll give you guys a little bit of, I don't know, kind of incentive for this upcoming week. Again, a lot of people are going to be off of work. So it'll give you guys incentive to go and find some bankrolls or go to a coin shop this last week before things shut down next Friday, which is Christmas. All right, so let's go ahead and start it off with the first coin here. What we have is the 2008 P Alaska State Quarter. This one has the distinction of being the sixth claw. So on this coin, you could obviously see that the coin has taken some sort of hit right here on the claw. But right here between claws 1 and 2, there's a die chip gob. All right, and even that took a hit. But this is the termed six claw Alaska State Quarter, I guess, if you want to call it that. Nothing per se super special, but these have a little bit of a cult favoritism, on the secondary market, and just like the Spitting Horse Delaware State Quarter and a few others. The Snowy Roof Homestead National Park Quarter is another one. These coins certainly have its place in the secondary market. Okay, and this one here is sold for $6. Again, the six claw state quarter is simply just a die chip between claws 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. Usually it's between 1 and 2. Anyways, that's that one there. It's in pretty decent shape too. All right, so this one right here is really cool, though. It's a 1941S Mercury Dime. I would imagine that probably it was cherry-picked or maybe it was purchased because it just looks nice. And after close examination onto Miss Liberty's face right there, you have an over-polishing of the die. So now you have this big gaping omission of some of the design on Liberty's face, right there at the nape of the nose and the forehead, which is pretty incredible. But simply an over polishing of the die is what caused this during the maintenance period. This one sold for $23.99 here in the last day or so. Pretty cool coin. You just never know what you're going to find. So make sure you take a close look at your coins. And as always, make sure you have a good magnifier. Okay, a good magnifier costs about $8 to $10. And if you need one, I have some down for sale down below in the description box through a few Amazon links. So if you're looking for that inexpensive tool that you need to really excel at this hobby, there you go. You don't have to pay King's ransom for it, that's for sure. All right, so the next piece of numismatics is going to be this $5 Federal Reserve note. So it's a 1995 series. It's an older style note. It's affectionately referred to as the small head, but as you can see, there's some missing print right here. It would appear that this is an obstructed print. All right, so there was something right here while the sheet was being printed. Might be another small piece of paper or whatever the case may be. You can see kind of like that ragged edge, which indicates it might be a piece of paper. But anyways, just a really cool error here and on the reverse. Really not all that affected. It's just when that first print was printed, there was something, a foreign object on the sheet when it was printed over. This one right here is sold for $49.95. A really cool statement piece for a currency error collection. Okay, so the next one that we have here is the 1995p Washington quarter. This one is an off-center broad-struck coin. It's so far off-center that, it's beginning to dig into these edge devices. Okay, the top of T and Y and Liberty is being affected along with certain areas on the reverse. Still pretty cool error coin right here of a modern. This one right here, let's see, sold for $89.99. Okay, I think it's just a overall tougher date to find this level of broad strike, and seeing that, it looks as good as this, probably a nice mid-state 63 or somewhere thereabouts, is the reason why that it commanded as much money as it did. All right, so we have a number of 1995 numismatic items. The next one that we have here is a Roosevelt Dime. Again, this one is a broad strike. This one is probably close to the size of a nickel. It's pretty close. So these are, of course, with any broad strike, these are produced when the collar is absent during the strike. So the metal flow upon the strike has to go somewhere. So it goes out. It's like squashing an ice cream sandwich cookie, when it's half melted and then all the stuff just comes pouring out the sides. This is the same premise. So this Roosevelt Dime right here, pretty cool error, sold for $33. All right, who had thought something like this would be $33, or the quarter before at $90. But these are very well collected items. And we have a 1996. This is a Denver out of all mints. You usually don't see too many U.S. mint errors in the Denver minted coins. However, we have a quarter, ladies and gentlemen, that has 3 clips. It has 3 clips. You got this one here, you got this one here, and then this one. And of course, with all 3 clips, you have the flattening of the corresponding edges right directly across from the clip. They call this the Blakesley effect. Okay, it's almost like proof that it is a legitimate clip. If you don't have the Blakesley effect, obviously it's probably a manufactured type of error, okay, where it was ground down or something like that intentionally to deceive the collecting public. But something like this right here, make no mistake about it, it's got all the evidence you need to determine that it is a tried and true triple clip. This one right here is sold for $41.51, and that's really because that there is 3 clips. The more clips, the happier your wallet will be. All right, so I believe this is the only off-center struck coin on the list, but it's a 1989 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel. It's a really nice, pleasing, mid-state level, kind of like a low to mid-grade coin. All right, anytime you have an off-center coin, it is about 50-55% off-center. But anytime you have one of these particular errors where you have a full readable date and a mint mark, okay, these are important to error collectors of this type. And because of that, this one sold for $21.05. Pretty nice coin, albeit a little bit more of a common date for off-center coinage. Now, here's one that will probably blow your mind a little bit, okay? Check the date out, 2020. Denver, Lincoln Shield Cents. So what's going on with this one? This one looks weird, and I'm sure something like this would probably deceive a lot of people into thinking that, you know, there was some sort of damage to it. But based off of what we're seeing right here, okay, this is a coin that was struck through a pretty good amount of grease. So the hammer and anvil die each has some subsequent amount of grease, and when it strikes a coin, okay, you get all of this weakness, okay, and on Lincoln Cents especially, it's even more evident. Okay, it looks very blotchy. It really does look like a coin that you really don't want nothing to do with. But this is how a copper-coated zinc strike through looks like. So, guys, don't toss this back. Here's the reverse. You can see some of that strike through there as well. This one right here, for you West Coast people, sold for $10. That's not bad, considering that it's 1 cent. So you got 1,000 times your face value on this one. All right, so the next one that we have here is the 1974D. So here's another error type that I've never talked about on BlueRidgeSilverhound. Okay, now some of you have sent things like this to me in my email, and you flip the Lincoln Cent around, and then you have this ghosting effect of Lincoln's profile. All right, so this is what is generally referred to as a progressive indirect design transfer. All right, that's very wordy. So what exactly does it mean? Well, it's real simple. This is a form of die deterioration. So as coins are being struck through the minting press, so just like a car wears down after many miles of usage. Same with the dies. Okay, the dies, as they're sitting there hammering each and every single strike of a coin, all right, for every and you can imagine just the pressure of the strike as it's striking coins just one after another. Okay, so the more pressure that is being applied not only to the actual planchet or the coin after it's been done struck, but the pressure is going to continuously through the coin apply pressure of its design on both dies. Okay, generally we see the obverse transfer through to the reverse die. Okay, and that's why we see what we call the ghost Lincoln effect on not only the wheat cents, but also the Lincoln Memorial. So just in case you guys are wondering exactly what a ghost Lincoln is, it's a form of die deterioration. So this one right here sold for $12. It's not bad. It's a very strong looking example of a progressive indirect design transfer, and it also helps that it is a really nice pleasing mint state red. All right, so this one right here is one that can easily be missed. 1988P Roosevelt Dime. This one has a really small die break cut on the back, so a piece of the die had fallen off after prolonged use, which is normal, and that's why we see die cracks and things of that nature on coins over time, even the newest coins. So this one right here has a really small cut that actually goes into the design, just a shade, but even coins like this, very well collected. If you can believe it, this one sold for $20.75. All right, so this is the only picture I have for you. It's a Lincoln wheat cent or Lincoln Memorial cent, and it's just the ear of Lincoln. Now, looking at this, we all know what variety it is. It's the 1997 DDO 001 or the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide, but it is the doubled ear variety. Okay, so you see the normal ear comes right here. This one has an extra earlobe that comes down further. All right, this one tricks and fools a lot of people, but people also take something similar to this and they find it in all the other dates around it. You know, like, oh, I got a 1992 Lincoln with this doubled ear. I'm like, no, that's 97. It's the only attributed one thus far. You know, and then there's some other off the wall dates, 95, 90, 96, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, come on, guys. It's 97 is the big one. That is the one that is not only in the Cherry Picker's Guide, but it's the only one that looks like this. So this one example was actually in a third-rate slab. I forgot what it was, but the slab image was too low quality to bring up a full obverse picture of the coin. Nonetheless, this particular coin sold for $49.95. It was a mid-state red, if that helps, and it probably sold for a little bit less than what it should. This probably, on a better day with better images, could sell for about double what it sold for. All right, it's 1979 Washington Quarter. Very well loved. It's circulated quite a bit, but as you can see on the reverse, there's a little spike right there. Now, is that damage or is that something else? Well, I'm happy to say that is something else. Okay, it's actually a strike through. It could be a strike through lamination fragment. It could be a strike through type of debris like a piece of wood or a wire. It's really hard to say. And the reason why that it is you don't see the buildup on the edge of the strike through. Okay, this one is clearly a depression into the coin. All right, and that is caused when a foreign piece of material has fallen onto the planchet before it was struck. All right, and it happens so fast. But this is a really cool example right here. Again, I mean, just look at the condition of the coin. This thing has been all over the place, and a lot of people will look at that and like, oh yeah, that thing's been scratched. No, that one is a legit strike through. So with that being said, this particular coin sold for $25.98, which to a lot of people, it's a tank of gas, if you think about it. Another neat coin, barely 3 years old. It's a 2017 Philadelphia Roosevelt Dime that exhibits a partial tilted collar. So the collar wasn't completely seated up onto the coin as it was being struck. So you have a partial reading, and you also have this railroaded kind of like edge right here to complement that. Just one of the hallmarks of a tilted collar. Usually with a tilted collar, the coin will appear a lot more off-center than what this one is. But this one's a pretty decent example of this. Sold for $16.50. One of my favorites, 2007 Philadelphia. This one is not a beauty queen. You've heard me say that before. But this one right here, unmistakably, is one of the most dramatic shattered die obverse coins that you will ever find. And you find them on a few dates during the mid-2000s. Okay, 2007P is one of the more notable ones. This one right here sold for $74.05. The reason why I'm kind of chuckling is I cannot believe that these are still selling for this level of money, even after so many of them have been found and sold on the secondary market. I'm glad people are taking advantage of finding this coin. Now, images aside, these are way too washed out, but you really don't need a whole lot to make a determination that we have another cud. Another small cud that goes into the design top of trust. It is a Denver, okay, so make note of that. You can also find cuds on Denver coins, although they appear a lot less frequently than, say, the Philadelphia coins. It's always good to know that something like this can show up on a Denver struck coin. This one right here, let's see, sold for 20 bucks. All right, so $20 bill for this coin that obviously has seen so much action in circulation is just a really, really good thing to happen. All right, so we have a few coins sold by South Park Coins. I had to check the little logo to make sure, but South Park Coins is a regular staple on the Pocket Change Market Report. They sell quite a few nice quality errors, okay? You know, most of them are low grade, not low grade, but lower desirability, but, you know, there's no understating the importance of each one of these errors, starting with this unreadable date Kennedy half dollar. So for all you half dollar hunters, keep this in mind. This one is a Denver. As you can see, a lot of the obverse details are missing. This one was struck through some grease. Nice heavy amount of grease. And this one right here sold for $11.45, which was at 2 90% silver halves, or maybe even 4 40% halves, however you want to classify it, on a 1-to-1 scale. There you go. Not bad. $11. All right, what's the good rule of thumb? And I usually use this one per video, but any bicentennial coinage with an error is a very hot and desirable coin. Here's another one. I think the one I did last week was from also South Park Coins. So we have an uncentered broad-struck bicentennial quarter. Okay, it's referred to by a number of names. Drummer Boy quarter is like the most popular. But this one is a Philadelphia struck coin. This one right here is sold for $55.50, where, believe me, any other date of broad strike around this one, like a 77 or 78, would probably sell for about half that. All right, so just the desirability of this 1 year type kind of like pseudo commemorative coin, along with a mint error. 2 recipes for, something really big on the secondary market. And a 1970 Lincoln Memorial with 2 clips. And you could vaguely see a little bit of the flattening here and right here. It's kind of flat. But those are the Blakesley effect areas on this coin. Pretty nice high-grade example, might I add. And it sold for $15.94. The more clips, the better. And let's see, the final item on the list is going to be this one right here. Really cool. 1980 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel that was struck over a Lincoln cent planchet. Okay, so the coin obviously looks smaller. You have a lot of design devices cut off, which helps support its claim of being a size of a Lincoln cent. That planchet size, okay, and then the red color is a dead giveaway on this one. Believe it or not, this is a type of coin that you would find graded. This one is raw, and it's sold on the secondary market as a raw example. This one right here is sold for $171. Now, the likelihood that you'll find something like this in pocket change is a little tight, all right? More than likely, this is something that you'll find at a coin shop or show, depending on how knowledgeable your coin dealer is. They may not know what this is. It's kind of hard to say. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for the Pocket Change Market Report for the week of December 19th, 2020. We will also do the Monday Market Report here in a couple of days. It'll be the last reports before Christmas. So I want to thank each and every single one of you for joining in and your support of Blue Ridge Silverhound. It was amazing this year. I want to thank each and every single one of you for that. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that good old bell for instant notifications. I'm your host, Sean. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. You guys take care, enjoy the hunt, and I shall see you on the next coin video.